Hey everyone, today we are jumping into creatine. You know, that supplement that's been a staple in every gym bag for like ever? Well, what if I told you its most powerful benefits have nothing to do with muscle at all? Let's get into it. I mean, how perfect is this quote? It just completely flips the script on what we think we know about creatine, swapping the weight room for, well, the library. So, what is the real deal here? Today, we're going to break it all down, the science, the athletic benefits that are actually proven, and this totally unexpected boost it can give your brain that is scientists so excited. To really understand this, we've got to start with the basics. So, let's go beyond the biceps and figure out what this stuff really is on a molecular level. Okay, deep down, creatine is actually pretty simple. It's just a compound made from three amino acids you've probably heard of: arginine, glycine, and methionine. And its main job in the body? Rapid energy regeneration. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like a super fast charging cable for your cells. So where does it come from? Well, you get it in two ways. First, if you eat meat and fish, you're getting about 1 to 2 grams a day without even trying. But your body is also pretty smart. Your liver and kidneys can actually make creatine themselves from those amino acids. And that's really important because it means if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you're not deficient, but your baseline levels are probably going to be a bit lower. All right, now we get to the really cool part, how creatine actually works, its magic inside your cells. We're diving into what's called the ATP phosphocreatine system. It's basically the body's rapid fuel source. You see, every single cell in your body, from your biceps to your brain cells, runs on this energy currency called ATP. It's like cellular cash. The only problem is, we don't have a big bank account of it. We only have enough stored for like a few seconds of intense effort. So, how do we solve that little energy crisis? Well, when you do something explosive, like a sprint or a heavy lift, you spend that ATP, and it turns into ADP. Think of it as a drained battery. That's when creatine phosphate, which is just creatine stored in your muscles, becomes the hero. It swoops in, donates its phosphate back to the ADP, and boom, it instantly recharges it back into fresh ATP, so your muscles are ready to go again. But here's the thing you have to remember. This whole amazing, super fast recharge system, it's really only good for about 5 to 10 seconds of all-out maximum effort. This is the energy you use for a 100-meter dash or a 1-rep max lift, not what you'd use to run a marathon. Okay, so knowing how this works, let's connect the dots. How does this translate into that athletic edge creatine is so famous for? Let's look at real-world performance. This leads us to a really practical question, right? If our bodies only store a limited amount of this stuff, can we actually top off those fuel tanks by taking a creatine supplement? And the research on this is crystal clear. For most of us, the answer is a huge yes. Supplementing can boost your muscles' creatine storage by a pretty significant 10 to 40%. You're basically just expanding the size of that immediate energy fuel tank. And this is where we need to bust a huge myth. Creatine isn't magic. It doesn't just make you stronger overnight. The benefit is indirect. By having more of that rapid recharge fuel, you might be able to squeeze out 1, maybe 2 more reps in a tough set. And over weeks and months, that extra work you're able to do leads to better gains. All right, we've covered the muscles. We've hit the gym. But now let's get to the most fascinating part of this story, the boost for your brain. This cognitive connection is where things get really exciting. So get this, your brain is a total energy hog. It uses about 20% of your body's total energy. And for really demanding mental tasks like complex problem solving or deep focus, guess what energy system it taps into? You guessed it, the exact same ATP creatine system. Your brain actually stores and uses creatine to fuel intense thinking. So what does that mean in the real world? Well, research is suggesting some pretty amazing potential benefits, like helping with memory and reducing that feeling of mental burnout. But here's the kicker, the really important part. These benefits seem to be most obvious when your brain is under pressure, like when you're super stressed or haven't slept enough. It's like an energy buffer for your brain, right when you need it the most. So, if you're sitting there thinking, hey, this sounds pretty good, for either your body or your brain, what's the actual game plan? Let's break down a simple dosage guide based on what the science says right now. Okay, for general athletic performance, the gold standard is pretty much 5 grams a day for maintenance. Simple. But for cognitive support, the studies are pointing towards a higher dose, more like 10 grams a day. So why the difference? Well, it seems it's just harder to get creatine into your brain. You need more of it circulating in your blood to effectively get past the brain's security system and top off those stores. And for those really tough situations, like you pulled an all-nighter for an exam, some research suggests a single big 20-gram dose might give you that immediate brain energy buffer to help you stay sharp. So at the end of the day, it's pretty clear that this supplement has a way bigger story than most of us thought, and it kind of leads us to a whole new way of thinking about it, summed up perfectly right here. Maybe it's time for a new slogan: brain before brawn. Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.